Good morning, everyone. Interesting. Let's see here. Here we go. Mhm. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is another great day that the Lord has sent, and let us rejoice and be glad in it because today is Success Mentorship class number 371. And we have a guest speaker today, a person that we know from her incredible talks before. Dawn Lovell from Barbados will be sharing, and her message is the Success Equation 2.0, Fueling the Fire. Dawn, we can't wait to just hear your message. Everybody's on fire. I mean, just hearing the title, it says, Sit Up and Pay Attention. Once again, I invite each and every one of you to visit our website, www.herbertharris.com, and schedule a success consultation. I'd love to speak with you and see if we can be of assistance to help you be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. Before we get started, let us sit straight up in our seats and get ourselves centered and prepared for this message. Let's sit straight up. Let's close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes, take a deep breath, and let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, we affirm, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. And as that peace just sinks in and surrounds our entire being, we know that our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let that sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. Ah, folks, I'll tell you this. Dawn Lovell is an author, is a speaker, is a coach, and she is one of the most incredible coaches that you will ever meet. Her specialty is customer service. And she has that unique ability to connect with people exactly where they are and to help them see a bigger, grander picture of themselves. And so let us bring on Dawn Lovell to share the message. Welcome, Dawn.
Good morning, Dr. Harris. Good morning, everyone. As usual, it is a pleasure and an absolute honor to be here with you today.
Well, Dawn, we can't wait for your message. So I'm just going to get out of the way and let you roll. I love your new glasses, your new look. Go ahead, girl.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Well, yes, this is the new Dawn 2.0. So today we are about to talk about the success equation 2.0, fueling the fire. So I hope everyone is ready. I hope you're all set. You would have that meditation, so you're in a great space. And I hope that at this point, you have prepared yourself now to go to level 2.0. All right. So, again, welcome to all of those on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Whenever you will watch this, wherever you will watch this, I pray that this will be some measure of not just inspiration or motivation, but transformation for your life. So, Dr. Harris, today I am talking to a particular group of people. This message is not for everybody. There's some that will capture some stuff from it, but there's a particular group of people I'm talking to today. And I want to help identify that group of people. And if you're on here and you're listening to me, if you're in our Zoom mastermind or you are on Zoom, Facebook, wherever you are, I want you to just raise your hand or put in the chat to tell me you identify with this new version of yourself I'm going to be talking to. So, this message is for those people who have achieved some semblance of success. So you're not now at your starting point. You have a level of success. There's certain goals you've achieved so far in life. You may have some money in the bank. You might have your business might be growing rather successfully. So there's some semblance of success that you already have achieved. Secondly, you might have been following Dr. Harris for a while, so you know about success mentorship. You've been in the Zoom room, you're a part of the Eagle Club, and you've been coming consistently for a while because we know not everybody wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning to come on a class. So if you're that person, I'm talking to you. You may have a passion for something. You may have a passion to do, to be, and to have more. So you're not there where you're like, this is all it is to life. I'm okay. If that's you, that's not the person I'm talking to today. If you're a person that you want to do, be, and have more, you are for me today, and I'm for you. And you maybe there's a little bit of a plateau. When we work out, sometimes we hit a plateau, our body, we need to work different muscles. There's certain things that we know, okay, well, I've reached a certain level here, but there is a yearning for more. So you may have been going along pretty well. You're making that money, you're having that success, your marriage is going well, your relationships are good. And you're like, yeah, but there's something else. If that's you, I'm talking to you today. So, last week, Dr. Stan Breakthrough, Dr. Harris, he brought us an amazing, amazing message. Somebody saying, I'm that person. Good. So if you're that person, I'm here for you today. He had an amazing message, and there were some things that he said that stood out to me, and I wrote them down. He said, you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. I said, my goodness, wow. He said, you are a product of the master and you're a priority of the master. That hit my spirit at a different level because when you're somebody's priority, you know that that person is looking out for you. You know that that person, your value is so important to that person that they want to see you succeed. So today, if you are in this room, I want to tell you, you are a piece of the master because you're a masterpiece. You are a product of the master and you are a priority of the master. Yes? Yes, yes. Dr. Breakthrough is giving me that thumbs up. So there was an amazing scripture, and you know what? This is not about being religious, but I know many of you know the word, you've heard the word, you understand the word, and you connect with the word, right? There's this great book that I read, and there's a passage in it that says, but we all with open face, which means being unveiled, uncovered, with open face, boldly as in a glass, reflecting the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by his spirit. So let's break that down. It says, but we all with open face, reflecting the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory. And I want to stick a pin right there. From glory to glory. What does that denote? Glory to glory denotes from one level to another level. All right. So when we break that down, open face means you are unveiled, uncovered. It means that there's something new. I remember at one point in time, I felt like I was veiled because nobody knew me. Everybody, people were telling me, your family, your close friends, your mentors were saying, but Dawn, you're good, you're great, and all that. I couldn't see it. And there were some people that didn't see it because I was veiled. All right. So we are being unveiled and we're going to be reflecting the glory. The glory, another word for glory is doxa. Doxa is the word for glory. And what does doxa mean? It means your splendor. It means your brilliance. It means your magnificence. It means your excellence. It means your preeminence. So, as we break this down, we understand that there's a level of glory, of doxa, of excellence, of preeminence that is there for us because it says of the Lord, and we are changed into the same image from glory to glory. All right, so that's it for me because I'm going to start preaching if I don't move on from this point. There is a level of glory that you need to understand. Now, many of us, we have, again, if I'm talking to you, you've reached a level where you're pretty satisfied in your life. You're doing well. You know, you're more in the black than you are the bill, the red, you know, you can afford your house, your car, everything, your bills are paid, your kids are in private school, you know, your business is making money, and you've moved from that in the red to the break even, now to you're making a profit. So things are pretty good. But I want to say to you, there is a level of doxa. There's a level of glory that you have been called to. So what is this success equation 2.0? Fueling the fire. There's a fire that's within you, and I want to ignite that fire today. I want to ignite that fire. Now, that fire, because you've gotten here, that fire may be, you know, they have different levels of fire. So it might be a candle fire, it might be a stovetop fire, it might be a wood fire, but I want to move you to a different place where your fire is like an explosion, where your fire, wherever it comes, anything that's in your way needs to move. Because as you know, there's nothing that can withstand fire. There's nothing that can withstand fire. There's nothing that is in the way of fire that does not move. If it doesn't move, it is consumed. So there's a level for us. You see, we are now in Q2 of 2025. I don't know how many of you, you know, I'm not aging myself. I'm still pretty young. I got my glasses on and I still feel like I'm a millennial. But if truth be told, that's not what the in Chronos age, that's not what that says. You know, really and truly, I've matured. But I want you to understand that way back when, I remember watching a cartoon called The Jetsons. And in The Jetsons, they had people that were flying and, you know, all these nice little, I don't know where there were cars. They looked like spaceships. You know, you could press a button and lunch would be ready. You could press something, your coffee would be ready. There was a robot to do your laundry, all of these things. And how many of you know that we are living in these days where AI, technology, and all of these things now have made our lives so much easier? Who would have thought back then? But I want to ask you, are you still the same person you were in that era when you were watching this thing and you said, wow, that looks like it's not going to be achievable? That looks like something so far off in the future. Like, how are we even going to get there? And now we have Chat GPT that will write our entire thesis for us. We got AI that, you know, they can put me on a screen and I'm not even there. And I'm going to be talking in a different language. For those of you that know about the Great Discovery, I can be speaking in 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12 different languages. Do I know how to speak Chinese? I do not. But there's something that can do that for me. So I want you to understand, and as I said, I came today to push you to a new dimension, a new level of thinking, a new level of operation. That's going to be so important. There are things that Dr. Harris has been teaching us for the last how many years? Some of you, I've been with him for a long time. I've been with him for about 8, 9 years now. There's some of you that have not been with him that long, but there's a consistent message that Dr. Harris has been teaching us. And if we have been implementing, we would have seen the growth in our lives. We would have seen the growth in our businesses. We would have seen the growth in who we are as individuals. So that's why I'm talking to the Eagles today. You know, we always talk about authenticity, and many of us know we have become comfortable. Me at this age now, I've now become comfortable with who I am, unapologetically Dawn. There was a time I wasn't like that. There was a time I was still afraid. There was a time I still had an issue with what people thought of me. Now, what you think of me is really none of my business. But there's a different level for you. And I want to push you today. 2025, this is the first Saturday in April. And what you were doing last year, you can't afford to do it this year. Why? Because it's going to stagnate you. Understand that in this year, we've seen so much change in the world. It's like the world got flipped on its head. So, how should we think that we can operate the same way we did last year? There has to be change. There has to be a Dana 2.0. There needs to be a Christine 2.0. There needs to be a Dawn 2.0. Alrighty, so let's go through this. How do you know it's time for a new level? How do you know whether your fire is too dim? How do you know if your light is being hidden and you've not been unveiled? How do we get to this level of preeminence? Preeminence, that's the word. First of all, what's your level of hunger? What is your level of hunger and desire? As I said, there are some people that are going to listen to this message and they're going to be like, Dawn, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm comfortable. I'm just going to live out the rest of my life. But there are others of you that know I am not going to that grave empty. There's so much more that's within me. There are books to be written. There are people that I need to reach. There's a message that needs to come out. There's something in my spirit that God prepared me for. And I'm not going to go to my grave until I have emptied myself of myself. You're who I'm talking to today. So, what is your level of hunger and desire? You know, when you're hungry, you need to feed. You know, I remember when I was young, and you would say, well, I'm hungry. And your mom would say, okay, well, eat this or eat that. And she put it on the table. And if you were like, I didn't like soup. I did not like soup. So my mother would put soup. I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. She says, well, you're not hungry enough. How many of you say that you're hungry, but you're not hungry enough? There are things that have been laid out before you. There are opportunities. There's growth. There are other mountains that you need to get over. There's some challenges that you haven't met yet. Are you hungry enough? Is that soup before you and you're saying, no, I don't really like that. I don't like vegetables. I don't really like this. I don't like that. You're not hungry enough. And your mom or your grandma would always tell you about those in other countries that were suffering, that, you put two crackers in front of them and they would have been so thankful for it. She always said, you're not hungry enough. I want you to ask yourself that today. Are you hungry enough for success equation 2.0? Are you ready for a new level of success? And some people cry this down. Why do you want more? Like, don't you have enough? There's enough for everybody to go around. You just need to take this piece. That's yours. I'm saying no. Because some of us, that's okay. Some of us, that's our level. But there are others of us that are called to global levels. There are others of us that are called to national levels. There's some of us that are called to community levels. Some of us are just called to our family, and that's fine. But if you know you're called to a greater level, today is the day to fuel that fire. This is not just about motivation. I'm not just here to inspire you. I'm here to help you transform into the new version of you that is necessary for your next level of success. One of the things I was thinking about this only yesterday. And do you know that healthy eating and exercise is beneficial to your life? Of course it is. You're like, duh. Yes, Dawn, of course it is. But do you know how many people go on a healthy diet and an exercise routine before they know the doctor has given them a bad diagnosis? So you're supposed to eat your vegetables. You're supposed to cut out refined sugar. All of these things, you're supposed to exercise at least 3 times a week, 20 minutes a day. That's all it's asking for. But yet, even though you know it's beneficial, there are some things that you haven't taken on because you know what? They don't seem that important at this point. But the day you go to the doctor and he says to you, if you don't do this, you're going to die, your desire and your level of hunger is going to increase exponentially. Now it becomes a priority. I want you to make your success a priority. I want you to make that level of excellence a priority. Why? Because God Himself made you a priority. There was an ultimate sacrifice that was paid. We are in the season of Easter, and there's a return on investment. How many of you are flying too low? How many of you are flying too low? Understand that there is a blueprint for that dream and that vision. There's a blueprint for success. But on the other side of success is adversity. On the other side of that success is adversity. Does your hunger and desire match the level of adversity that you're about to meet? Because yeah, we always make this really, really nice. And it's all, we look through these rose-colored glasses and it's like success is this great thing. And it is. And I'm only successful if I have the house, I have the money, everything is going well in my life. No. Success means your energy is matching the energy of the adversity that you're facing. I want to say that again, because many of you think I've failed, I'm failing, I'm not doing well. But the level of adversity you've had to face in your life, look back over your life. You will see the things that you came through. You will see the things that you overcame. Do that introspection, and you already are a success. Because what happened with you is that when you butt that mountain and you butt that challenge and you butt that adversity, there was something in you that said, I got to rise up. I got to rise higher. And if you were flat on your face, you said, you know what? I got to get up. And if you were flat on your back, you said, I got to look up. So understand that that blueprint for success means there's a level of adversity that you're going to have to overcome. Does your desire, does your fire match the adversity? Does your fire remove the adversity? Because when your fire is lit, when you're on fire and you're hot, adversity means nothing to you. It's just another level. So where is your fire level? We have Dr. Harris on here. I'm always so amazed by this man. He's not even Dr. Harris 2.0. He's like 5.0. There's such levels in him. Many of us, and of course, because there's so much that he's accomplished in his life. And even at his age, even at his age, my goodness, he's operating at a level of a 30, 40-year-old. His memory, the things he does. I'm surprised he sleeps. I'm like, how do you do it, Dr. Harris? Because you know what? He's developed a system for success. There's a success equation that he has implemented in his life. For your level of success, and I want you to put in the chat if you're on Zoom, this is my level 2.0. I am Dawn 2.0. I am Dana Christine 2.0. I'm Elizabeth 2.0. This is the next level of me. This is the version of me you haven't seen yet. This is the one that's yet to evolve. This is the one that is emerging right now, even as we speak. Even as you're seeing me today, when you see me tomorrow, the person you see tomorrow will not be the same person you're seeing today. 2.0. So what do we need to do? Because that's important. Dawn, you can talk about this 2.0. You can talk about fueling the fire. All this sounds wonderful. What do I need to do? So I'll tell you what you need to do. And I want to say to you, as I'm talking to you, these are the things I'm implementing in my life. Because when I'm done here, I'm going to be a different Dawn than when I started. So You need to access, you need to be almost like a surgeon now. You see, many of us, we were general practitioners. We were general practitioners. You can go to a GP for pretty much anything. You just a cold, you got a pain in your right foot, your toe needs bandaging, you got a cut, you go to a general practitioner. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. We need general practitioners. But how about those specialists? Are you going to be a specialist? Now, when you're a specialist, that means there's a particular thing that you've learned to master. There's a precision about how you do things, when you do things, where you do things, and with who you do things. There's a special precision that comes with it. So what do you need to cut off? What do you need to cut off? It means you need to analyze. It means you need to audit. It means you need to take time to say, this is where I need to be more precise. This is where the target is. Anything else that does not relate to that, anything that is not in alignment with that needs to be removed. This is 2.0. Next, have you become comfortable? Have you become comfortable? And if you are you okay with being comfortable? Because you might have a certain level and standard of life that you're living right now, and it's comfortable, and that's great. But how many of you know that external comfort does not equate to internal comfort? Because many people are living in houses, and many people have $1 million or more in the bank, and many people have the cars and everything, but internally there's something. They're uncomfortable. And if you are uncomfortable internally, that means we're ready for 2.0. We are ready for 2.0. Next, what you need to do is you need to get a mentor if you don't have one. You see, there are things that you don't see, and there are things that you don't know, and you don't know that you don't know. What does a mentor do? A mentor opens your eyes to the things that you don't know, to the gaps that you have, to the areas that you need to develop. That's what a mentor does. And what they do is help you chart a path. Because that mentor you're looking for, you need to also be very precise. Is this person where I want to be? And how did they get there? Because that's what you want to know, the how. It's not that you don't have the dream. It's not that you don't have the vision. Many of us don't have the how. That's why you need a mentor. You need to pay for what you need. You see, there is a level that we come to, and I find this a lot. Oh my goodness. There are things you can get for free, and that's wonderful. All the information is on YouTube, there's Google University, you can get all that information. But when you need to be a surgeon, when you need to be precise, there's some things that just don't come for free. There's a price that needs to be paid, and it's not always monetary. Do you have to pay with your time? Do you have to pay with money? That's fine as well. What do I need to sacrifice in this season to become the 2.0 that I need to? Remember, we're going from glory to glory. Another thing you need to do, you need to change your perspective on adversity. My goodness. Change your perspective on adversity. There are some things that used to ruffle my feathers a couple months ago. I had a major challenge going on in my life. And it would have been life-changing. I want to say to you, that challenge is still there. But my perspective about it has certainly changed. When I first met that challenge, I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. I said, this is it, Dawn. That's it. You're done. You can never get back from here. It's too hard. It's too difficult. I don't want to do it. I don't want to try. I'm tired. Today, I look at that adversity and I smile. I said, you are not going to overtake me because my brightness, my fire, You are a mountain, and I will speak to this mountain. And that mountain is going to become a molehill. And in my thoughts, in my spirit, in my soul, that challenge right now is still there. It does not have the impact on me than it did before. Why? Because I'm moving to 2.0. You met me at Dawn 0.5. Since then, I'm Dawn 2.0. You need to look at your adversity differently. You need to change your perspective. You need to serve more. My goodness. You know, yesterday I had a conversation with a young lady, and this is part of why I'm fired up this morning. And this young lady, she said to me, she calls me Pastor Dawn. She said, Pastor Dawn, you know, I didn't go to school and I went to school, I didn't do much. I have no what we call here CXEs. I have nothing. I've been trying to find a job. I need to help my mom, and nobody's taking me on. I said to her, what do you have? She said, I like to draw. I said, girl, you give me something to work with. I said, you give me something to work with. I said, don't worry about the CXEs. Don't worry about those things. You can go back to school and you can get a diploma. You're 19 years old. You're a baby. But doing that, she said, can you look at my resume for me? I looked at it. I said, my goodness, she really didn't do anything at school. But you know what was great? She admitted. She said, I know I messed up. I said, well, because you know you messed up and you've been humble about it, I can help you. And we started to draft a plan for her. By the time I was finished talking to her, she said, thank you. Somebody needs to thank you or thank God for the day you were born. Somebody needs to be thankful. You see, that's how you know you're stepping into 2.0, because it's no longer just about you. It's no longer about my money. It's no longer about my family. It's no longer just about my business. It's about the people that you can impact and bring transformation into their lives. That's how you know you're ready for 2.0. One of the other things you need to do, you need to pray. You need to pray that your eyes are open. Why? Because this 2.0 is going to require a different level of information, knowledge, and wisdom and understanding. You see, you're a different individual and you're evolving every day. You're going from that glory to that glory. And there's some things about you that you don't know. There's some gaps that you don't know you have. You need to pray. You know, I started in a new job about 2 weeks now. And daily I said, my goodness, I said, God, did I make a good decision here? Why? Because it was totally outside of my comfort zone. And I expected to go in and I expected, like everything else that I do, you know, that perfectionist thing I'm working on, to perfect it. And I'm like, in short order, I'm going to be on top of this. I'm going to be doing this. This is going to be wow. And I go in, and 2 weeks in, I said to my superior and I said to my husband, I feel like a total doofus. They laughed at me. They said, what? I said, yes, I feel like a doofus. What do you mean, Dawn? I don't know anything. 2.0 means you're okay with not knowing anything. You know why? Because that means that the level that you've reached and you've learned all you needed to know. This is a new season and territory where you don't know anything and you have to learn. So after I kind of pulled myself together and I said, whoa, Dawn, this is new terrain for you, because I don't like not knowing. But I sat and I prayed. I said, Lord, expand my brain capacity, because I know that I only use, they say you use 10% of your brain. I said, God, there's another 90% that I need to use. So you're going to have to expand my brain capacity, because this thing, you know, I'm a word person. I'm a talk person. I'm not really a numbers person. I said, by the time I'm done, I'm going to be a numbers, talk, words, everything person, because I was comfortable in my comfort. Wow. So you need to pray for the expansion of the capacity. It's there. It's there. So be okay with being uncomfortable. Be okay with not knowing. That's because then there's going to be a fire in you to know more. There's going to be a drive to know more. When we know everything, we get comfortable. I think it's Christine that says, when we're ripe, we rot. And when we're green, we grow. So I want you to understand in this next season of 2.0, you're going to have to learn to laugh at adversity. The things that used to ruffle your feathers, you're going to start to realize they don't ruffle me anymore. They don't ruffle me anymore. I want to also warn you, though, there's some people that will think you're too much. There are some people will think you're too much. Why do you need to be all this? Why do you need to do all that? That's not necessary. That's not required. Why? You see, because you don't understand that there's a different level that I need to get to. And I realized that the version of me that was before is not going to take me to that next level. And it's not going to keep me in that next level. So yes, I need to be more. I'm okay with being all that. I'm okay with being extra. Be okay with being extra. And does that mean you're like me? No, it doesn't mean that. But there's a part of you that you know that there's more that you're supposed to be aspiring to. You know you've been holding back. You know that you've been keeping quiet. You know that you've been keeping under a bushel. That light hasn't been shining the way it's supposed to. You know you're supposed to be reaching more people. You know you're supposed to be transforming lives. You know there's other work that needs to be done. You know you need to open that other business. You know it's supposed to be a franchise. It wasn't supposed to be just a mom and pop. That was for somebody. So I want you now in this success equation 2.0, fuel your fire, understand that you set the temperature, you don't reflect the temperature. That dropped into my spirit this morning just before I came on. You need to set the temperature. So when you go into any new environment, and it may seem strange at first, and you need to take time to learn and to observe. But by the time you have observed the environment, you have looked at what is going on around you, and the atmosphere is one that is not conducive with your level of 2.0, you need to set the temperature. You need to set the temperature. This is how you're going to know that you're on track. This is how you're going to know that you are ready for success level 2.0. If after you've left here today and you go away and you do not remember anything that I say, maybe you're not ready yet. And that's okay. Because you know, your spirit knows when you are ready. But if perchance today I said something and you've gone off with this fire and you said, God, no, I am ready for my 2.0. I am ready to bring transformation to the lives of my family, the people around me, those that I'm called to. I am ready to do better. I'm ready to go to a different level of glory. I'm ready to shine. I'm ready to give you return on your investment, God, because the investment you placed in me is too valuable for me to undervalue it and operate at a level that is lower than expected. What is that level? And are you ready? Are you hungry? And are you hungry enough? So that is my message. That is my word to you today. I hope that this has brought some different level, a paradigm shift to how you think. Because in this world that we're living in, we cannot afford to operate lower than what we were called to. Everything has escalated. One of the things that has happened to many of us, there's a quote that says, evil persists when good men do nothing. Your light needs to be emanated right now. Your light is important right now. Your glory needs to be seen. Everyone is not an eagle, and that's okay. But if you are an eagle, you can't be operating like a turkey. So I'm calling all eagles to attention today. Come out of that nest and fly. Success equation 2.0. Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Thank you, everyone, all of you, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you are in the Zoom room. Thank you. It was my absolute pleasure to bring this message to you today. Over to you, Dr. Harris.
Wow, wow, wow. Dawn, Dawn, Dawn. I mean, you set the house on fire. I love it. You said, don't set the temperature. Don't reflect the temperature. Don't respond to the temperature. Dawn, this was an incredible message today. And let me tell you something. Just reading the comments. As a matter of fact, and we had an excellent attendance. We actually broke 50 people. And this message today resonated and went out into the universe in an incredible way. So I can't wait for our discussion. Let me wrap up our online live broadcast. Folks, those online, those on YouTube, I know that you're sitting there taking notes. Thank you so much for being there. Be sure to visit our website, www.herbertharris.com. Get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and schedule a success consultation. Dawn, you said something very powerful. Everybody has a coach. Everybody has somebody to go to, if only to be a sounding board. So reach out to me, book a session, herbertharris.com. Folks, you know this, and we know it well, that we have the power to be anything we want to be, to do anything we want to do, to have anything we desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Life just gets gooder and gooder when you go from 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0 to whatever point oh you need to be so that you can reach, as you say, your desire must be greater than the obstacles that confront you. Your dreams must be bigger than the things that doubt you and undermine you. And your actions must be bolder than the most powerful hurricane as you move on to experience your glory. Thanks so much. Be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, and always remember that wherever you are, the best is yet to come. Stay on for our discussion. Wow, let me wrap up our live broadcast.